Guess what, America? We're not just sliding into authoritarianism, we're in a goddamn freefall. And don't let any MAGA stormtrooper gaslight you into thinking otherwise. You're watching loyalty purges, tanks in the streets, political enemies raided like it's some mob movie, and a Justice Department that looks less like Lady Justice and more like Trump's personal hit squad. He once said,
loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
well, guess what? He's testing that theory on democracy itself, shooting holes through the Constitution while his cult cheers him on. If history is any indicator, it is only a matter of time before the leader turns on his own cult, and Trump is already doing that. Just look at how he is handling the Epstein case. His supporters were promised, guaranteed the truth, but once Trump and Tweddledum and Dumber got their tiny hands on the files with Trump's nasty orange fingerprints all over them, the files magically went from the possession of the FBI director to the desk of the Attorney General, to the list being a Democrat hoax, to interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell, to letting her stay at a luxury jail, to now Trump claiming he has every right to pardon a convicted child sex trafficker because she claims she never saw Trump or even Epstein do anything wrong. Let that sink in. Trump is considering pardoning Maxwell because she was nice to him. What about all the victims and the family members? If my daughter were one of the victims, I would have gone John fucking Wick on anyone who tried to free or minimize the evil and fucked up shit anyone involved in my loved one's suffering. You better believe I would spend the rest of my days in prison if anything like that happened to the people I love the most. Now let's look at Washington, D.C. Trump militarized the police, threw hundreds of military troops onto the streets, while violent crime is at a 30-year low. That's not leadership. That's a goddamn occupation by a boy who always wanted to be a man. Immigrant families and working people are getting stopped at checkpoints like it's Baghdad hell. Even Fox opinion host Brett Baier got stopped. That's not protecting the Capitol. That's creating a conflict and then claiming victory, just like a reality show, but with American taxpayer money. And in Los Angeles, 2,000 National Guard and 700 Marines patrolling neighborhoods like it's fucking Fallujah. Marines arresting civilians on US soil. When the fuck did we decide the military polices us? We the people didn't. It was no Dick Don, the cult leader of the uneducated. That's dictatorship 101, folks. And he's already eyeing Chicago next, daring us to stop him. Donald Trump's decision to deploy the military into democratic cities has already racked up almost as much as his taxpayer-funded golf trips.
The deployment of 4,100 troops and 700 Marines to LA alone is projected at $134 million, or roughly $2.2 million of your money per day. In Washington, D.C., where over 2,000 Guard members remain, the daily cost exceeds $1 million. These funds come directly from the Defense Department's operations budget, draining resources for training, equipment, and readiness. And with Trump now signaling his own SS Secret Police, labeled as a quick reaction force for domestic unrest, or to put it in terms MAGA will understand, terrorize Democrats, liberals, critics, and very soon, even MAGA itself. And then there's John Bolton. Yeah, the same Bolton who used to be Trump's guy. Until he spoke out, the FBI raids his home. Trump grins and says, "Retribution. Don't kid yourself. This isn't law enforcement. It's payback. This is the mafia with federal badges paid for by Americans." This is the same man who called journalists the enemy of the people, now using the state to crush anyone who crosses him. Mussolini called it loyalty, Erdogan called it order, Putin calls it stability, Trump calls it retribution. Different words, same authoritarian playbook. And don't worry, snowflakes, I won't compare Trump to Hitler. I do not have that much time on my hands for all the similarities. And the Injustice Department? It's a fucking circus. Inspectors general? Gone. Civil servants? Purged. Judges intimidated and ignored. Cases weaponized, not because they're real, but because Trump wants scalps. Because he wants everyone bald like him. He hired Kash Patel, who's known for writing a kid's book about poor Don J. Trump being cheated in the 2020 election. And Dan Bongino, who was a podcaster and MAGA dick surfer. What did you think was going to happen? These guys are not serious. They will do what Trump wants, not what MAGA demands. Release the files, they scream. But Crash and Bongino go on Fox Opinion and say exactly what Trump told them to. Remember when Trump said, "I want my people to be loyal. I don't want them to be independent." He wasn't joking. He meant every goddamn word. And this is what we get. More cover-ups and ignoring the will of the people who voted for Trump, because he never cared about anything but power and staying out of jail. This should matter to you. This isn't politics. This is your life, your city, your rights, your country. If Trump can raid critics, bypass governors, and sick Marines on your block, what the hell does your vote even mean? Would you want President Newsom doing that in red states? What the hell does free speech mean when Trump or Melania sues any and everyone for criticizing them? When Trump says, "I alone can fix it," what he really means is, "I alone will own it." And that includes you.